Hi, and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann, and today we're going to take a look at some different ways of using oil pastel crayons. Today I want to show you how to use oil pastels with a stencil to create a unique background for your cards. Now this is a twist on a technique called sgraffito, and sgraffito is where you would lay down one color of oil pastel, lay down a second contrasting color on top, and then use some kind of mark making tool to scrape away a part of the top layer to reveal the color underneath. And if your mind is boggled by trying to follow what I was saying, don't worry, because I'm going to show you part of the process. We're going to do a little bit of a twist on it though. Instead of scratching away the top layer, we're going to rub away the top layer with a baby wipe. So first things first, let me show you the oil pastels that I'm using. This is a set that I picked up at my local stamp store, and it was about $6 or $7, so really affordable. This is the 12 pack, and these are the oil pastels. So they look like crayons. They're water soluble, which means that they will react with water. You can also use them dry too, so there are a lot of different techniques that you can do with these. Now what I'm going to do is start with my cardstock, and this is just a medium weight cardstock, plain white. And I'm going to start with my yellow. And I just need to color this onto my cardstock piece. And I'm coloring in a pretty messy, haphazard way. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to get to the edges. So don't worry about your design really on this, because we're going to be covering it up. So then I'm going to take my green and add a little bit of green in here too. See how nice and vivid those colors are. I mean, the colors are really fantastic. So yellow and green, in kind of alternating stripes. Now that I've got my color on here, I'm going to take a darker contrasting color, and the one I'm going with is a violet. And I'm going to go directly over all of this area that I just colored. Not really obliterating it, but pretty much. So you may be thinking, well, why did you bother with the yellow and the green underneath, which is a fair question. But I'm going to remove portions of this top layer of violet, and you'll see the result that I get. So again, I'm going all the way to the edges and covering this all up. So yeah, doesn't that look nice? I'm going to use my stencil now and bring this in. This is a 6x6 stencil from Crafter's Workshop. This is the Quatrefoil design. And you can tell by the paint stains and ink stains on here that it's one that I use a lot. So I'm just going to place this down directly onto my colored piece and take a wet baby wipe. I wrap it around my finger, and I'm going to hold this down and start to blot away, rub away some of that color. And I'm constantly making sure that, changing this so that I'm making sure that I've always got a clean portion of the baby wipe. Otherwise, I'm really just kind of rubbing violet back into the piece of paper. So I'm just going to come in here and rub this around. And you can see where the contrasting colors are showing through, so that when I lift this, you get a really cool pattern. So I could go and do the entire piece if I wanted to, or I could leave some parts unbaby wiped, if you will, so that I get a really interesting, different effect. Now the next thing I need to do with this is hit it with a heat gun for a couple of minutes to set everything. And basically you're melting the crayon. So you do want to use a nice heat gun and nice even heat all over for just a couple of minutes. So now that I've got this piece done, I can bring back in my card and I'll show you how I used it. I matted it really simply onto this off-white color and then matted it onto green again. I added this quote stamp on here, and this is from Stampers Anonymous, and it's a quote that I really love, and it works beautifully on so many different cards. So it's one that I've had for a very long time and I use quite often. This is just a piece of sheer patterned ribbon that I looped around here. You will notice when you heat set your oil pastels that the colors do tone down a little bit. They don't get dull, but they do soften a little bit with the heat. So just be aware of that. And I really found that the violet in this case with the yellow and the green turned to look a little bit more on the brownish side. So I thought that was also interesting and really worked with this. I covered my card front with more of this tan cardstock and then put everything right on the top. Because I had so much fun with this background, I wanted it to stand out and to keep the rest of the design really pretty simple. So this is how you can use oil pastel crayons with stencils for a twist on the sgraffito technique. I hope you enjoyed watching today's segment. Thanks so much for stopping by. For more inspiration, please do come by my website at saranaumann.com. Okay, thanks again, and I will see you next time.